What's going on YouTube? This is 3zinferno. So this is a new segment I'm going to start. I think I've probably done it a few times before, but I really haven't called it anything. So I'm going to call this segment the set in review. So what I mean by that is I'm going to review Return of the Duelist actually. It's been out for about, a month or two, month and a half. So after this month and a half, right now I'm gonna talk about, how big the set has made an impact on the game. So we'll talk about some individual cards, some deck types, and some sleeper picks that I think are still underutilized. So let's start with the individual cards. Some individual cards that have made an impact. Grand Soul actually has made a big impact because of the likes of Jeff Jones running in Psychics. It makes a lot of decks like Rock Stun, X Sabers have big boss monsters that they normally didn't have. I mean, yes, X Sabers had Fall Troll and Gotems, but it had required much more setup. 2 cards in the field required the field presence, but Grand Soul is like Dark-Armed Dragon, you just drop it. Gear Gigan X is the next one. I mean, I'm gonna talk about it along with the whole Gear Gia matchup, the whole deck. But Gear Gigan X deserves its own because it fits in other decks like machines, like Machinas, gadgets, not just Geargas. So I like to talk about it individually as well. These two secret rares are really some of the most powerful cards that came out in this set, and that's more generalized that you can use in every deck. Next, I'm going to talk about the decks. Rockstone got a little bit of a boost with Block Golem, which is special 2 rock types from the graveyard. And a little bit underutilized as well for Rockstone. You have Catapult Zone and Revival Golem. These are actually really useful cards. What I mean by this is, look, Catapult Zone can defend your like Cookie Mirror Guardian from attack, or your wall, or your Sandman, which lets it survive longer. And if you pitch Revival Golem to the graveyard with it, you can add it to your hand. So let's say you open first turn Catapult Zone, and you open a Kokimeru monster with no rock type in your hand, so you can't summon it. What you can do is set it. Now, if you set it, your opponent next turn attacks into it, you activate Catapult Zone's effect to send Revival Golem to the graveyard. It saves your Kokimeru Guardian or whatever, and then you add Revival Golem to your hand, and now you have a rock type in your hand that, which is a requirement to reveal for the Kokimeru. So that's really useful, I think. And also lets your monster survive longer and have more power to negate. The next deck I can talk about is Geargas. Geargas is the most played deck out of that the new set has given us. It's actually really powerful. It's a really control-based deck, and people try to use the Beret, the Karakuri version, but I feel like that's a little more inconsistent. You can draw those tuners and not do too much with them, but if it goes off, it goes off. But I do like the Machina version, which makes it more consistent, more stable, and just more powerful overall. I think Geargas are a very stable deck, and that they'll be at the top for a while. Just not necessarily winning, but they'll be in the top tiers for a while. The next 2 decks that I'm going to talk about are Madolches and Spellbooks. Madolches haven't, people have already been playtesting with them, and they've been doing okay with them. There was this guy on Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Player that got like top 8 or top 4 at his regionals with Madolches. Right now, it doesn't have the boss monsters that it could have. So when the next set comes out, Madolches are actually get a really powerful Exceed and boss monster. So watch out for Madolches. If you already see them and know how they work, you gotta watch out. They already have, technically, they don't have a boss monster, but you can use Iatos in that deck, which is really cool because Madolches don't go to the graveyard, they go back to the deck. So it's really easy to keep a monster, keep your graveyard with no monsters, and that's easy to special Iatos. And Spellbooks. Spellbooks are an interesting as well. They have a lot of spell support cards. They have a lot of cards that like special summon, and they can do a lot right now already. But in the next set, I think they're getting a few more support cards as well. So watch out for Spellbooks and Madolches. They have not hit their peak yet because they don't have all their cards, but if they do, you might want to learn what these cards do right now so you're prepared for it in the future. Now, we're going to go over some sleeper picks. Two cards that I think are sleeper picks, meaning they're being underutilized right now. I have Silver Sentinel. Again, I love this card. The design is amazing. In a format like this where people are siding dust tornadoes even and doing other things, I think Silver Sentinel is a really big sleeper pick that is underutilized, and it can just wreck your opponent. The next card I have is Spirit Converter. Right now, it really doesn't have too many uses. The second effect is good for the only deck I can really think of is Watts, and I know Watts isn't seriously played, but I think Watts is a good deck. You can get back Watch Your Ass, Watch Cobras, Watch Pheasants, Thunder King Ryos. So that's pretty useful in my opinion. But later on, Spirit Converter will have more uses. So that is my review of Return of the Duelist. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other deck types, individual cards, or sleeper picks that you think should be mentioned, just comment below. Alright, thanks guys. 3zinferno signing out.